Dear beloved child, when the sky suddenly blazes with brightness for a moment, and the darkness is torn open by a stream of white fire, do not look only with the eyes of the flesh and call it merely a movement of the clouds and heavens. I created nature not as a soulless machine, but as an open book, where every wind, every raindrop, and every sound of thunder can become a gentle reminder for the soul that knows how to listen. The heavens declare the glory of God. The skies proclaim the work of his hands. As Psalm 19:1 says, "Therefore, when a flash of light crosses the night, I am reminding you that there are things from the heights of heaven still touching the low places of the earth. Things that human eyes may think are fleeting, yet in the spiritual realm carry a deep power to awaken and shake the soul. That light does not remain for long, but it is enough for you to recognize that darkness does not have absolute authority. It comes as a sign to remind you that I still speak, still lead, still awaken, still open a way through the dark places where you thought there was no longer any path out. At times, I allow that light to come swiftly to teach you about revelation. Human beings often become accustomed to walking in the dimness of their own thoughts, believing that only what they understand is real. Only what they can control is worthy of trust. But I am not limited by the small understanding of mankind. There are moments when I need only shine one ray of light into your heart, and what has confused you for many years suddenly becomes clear. Just as your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path, in Psalm 119:105. I do not always reveal the entire long road at once, but I give enough light for the next step. Do not despise those small beams of illumination, an awakening in the conscience, a quiet reminder in prayer, an event that makes you stop and reflect, a door that closes at the right time. All of these can be ways in which I draw you out of the sleep of the soul so that you may return to what is more true. But, my child, the light from heaven is not only meant to comfort, it is also meant to purify. When lightning makes everything visible in the night, what has been hidden can no longer remain concealed. I do not expose in order to destroy you, but to save you from the things that are silently drawing you away from me. Everything exposed by the light becomes visible. As Ephesians 5:13 reminds us, do not be afraid when I allow you to see the dark corners within your own heart. That is not a sign that I have rejected you, but proof that I am still caring for you. A loving father does not allow his child to keep walking toward the abyss without calling him back. I allow you to recognize your mistakes so that you may be healed, to see your pride so that you may learn humility, to hear the voice of warning so that you will not lose your soul in the slumber of the world. My judgment toward my children is not a hopeless anger, but a refining fire, so that the true gold within you may shine after the impurities have been burned away. Remember Saul on the road to Damascus. He thought he was walking in righteous zeal, but in truth, his feet were pursuing what grieved heaven. Then a light from heaven suddenly surrounded him, so powerful that he fell to the ground and could no longer see with his old eyes. Yet it was in that blindness that I opened for him a new vision. Do you see? My child, sometimes I must interrupt the road you are walking on in order to save you from a life headed in the wrong direction. That light, for Saul, was not only a rebuke, it was the beginning of a rebirth. The one who once persecuted became one who proclaimed. The one who once opposed became a chosen vessel. Therefore, when I allow a powerful event to shake your life, do not quickly assume it is a loss. It may be the very moment when I am transforming you from a person living by mere habit into a soul sent forth in grace. Then you will understand that every movement around you does not depart from my hand. Thunder does not sound apart from my permission. The sea does not roar beyond the boundary I have set, and the stars do not drift away from the order I have appointed. Job 37:3 says that he sends his lightning to the ends of the earth. so that you may remember that my power is not confined to any small or narrow place. But that power is not meant to make you tremble like one who has been abandoned. It is meant to draw you into holy reverence, where your soul knows how to bow down and say, Father, I belong to you. The world may be shaken, nations may be bewildered, and the age may be filled with signs that trouble human hearts. But do not let your eyes look only at the shaking. Look to the one who reigns above every shaking. When the earth moves, I am still the rock. When the sky flashes with brightness and then grows dark again, I am still the unfading light. Therefore, what I desire to do in you is not merely to make you notice outward signs, but to awaken a new life within. The light in the heavens only finds its full meaning when it leads you to the light within your heart. Whoever follows me will not walk in darkness, but will have the light of life. As John 8:12 declares, My child, do not only ask what that sign means for the world, ask what it is calling you to become before me. Do you need to become more watchful? Do you need to let go of an old habit? Do you need to forgive? To pray? To return? Or to step out of spiritual coldness? I am not calling you to fear the signs, but to recognize that grace is still knocking at the door. Rebirth does not always begin with a shout of joy. Many times it begins with a moment when the soul is shaken and quietly says, I cannot keep living the same way anymore. Let that light teach you to live in watchfulness without panic, in reverence without despair, in humility without shrinking back. I am doing a deeper work than your eyes can measure. I am calling many souls out of coldness, shaking places that seem to have fallen asleep, and sowing rays of truth in the midst of an age filled with noise. And you, my beloved child, keep your heart tender. When the sky lights up, remember that I am still near. When thunder sounds, remember that my word is still stronger than every sound. When darkness returns after the lightning, remember that my light has not disappeared. It is only waiting for you to carry it into life through faith, through love, through obedience, and through a heart that has been made new. My beloved child, when the sky suddenly blazes with light for a brief moment, do not hastily think that it is only a tremor of nature or a sign meant to make human hearts tremble. I allow that light to flash in the middle of the night to remind you that darkness has never been the final throne of the world. There are moments when I allow the heavens to seem as though they are opening, not to warn you of destruction, but to help your soul remember that heaven is not as far away as you have imagined. The kingdom of God does not come with outward display, for the kingdom of God is within you. As Luke 17:20-21 reminds us, meaning that what is holy is not only in some distant height, but is seeking a way unto the deepest hidden place within your heart. When light cuts across the sky, I am calling you to look back at yourself. What side are you standing on? Are you nurturing the light or compromising with darkness? Are you opening your heart to truth or hiding beneath the false garments that the world has sewn for you? I do not use those signs to frighten you, my beloved child, because my heart does not rejoice when you are afraid like an orphan. I want you to be awake like a child who knows that his father is calling. There are calls that are very gentle, like a reminder within the conscience. There are stronger calls, like an event that forces you to stop, and there are also calls that blaze like fire, making the whole sky within you unable to keep sleeping. Awake, you who sleep, arise from the dead, and Christ will shine on you. As Ephesians 5:14 declares, do you see? Awakening is not condemnation, but grace gently shaking the shoulder of the soul. I do not come to drown you in guilt, but to draw you out of the long sleep of habit, fame, self-satisfaction, and the busyness that has made you forget the way home. Many people in the world have grown so accustomed to living amid noise that when I speak in silence, they no longer recognize me. They say I'm distant, but it is their own hearts that have built too many walls. They say I am silent, but their own ears are already too full of the voices of gain, ambition, comparison, and fear. My beloved child, to hear me, you do not need to become perfect. You only need to become willing to stop. When Elijah stood on Mount Horeb, a strong wind tore through the mountains. An earthquake shook the earth, and fire blazed fiercely. Yet I did not speak to him in those loud things. Then a gentle, quiet whisper came, and he covered his face before my holy presence. That story in 1 Kings 19 is not only about a weary prophet, but is meant to teach you that I do not always come in the way the world expects. Sometimes I make the sky blaze with light so that you will pay attention. But I heal you through a whisper in the secret place. Therefore, when you see your life being shaken, do not quickly conclude that I am destroying you. There are things that must be shaken so that what is steadfast may be revealed. There are shells that must crack so that the seed inside can begin to live. There are dry lands that must be plowed before the rain can soak deeply into them. I will shake not only the earth but also the heavens. As Hebrews 12:26-27 says, so that what does not belong to true life may be separated. While what comes from me remains, my purification may cause you pain for a moment, but it is not meant to shatter you. I am like a silversmith sitting beside the fire, never taking my eyes off the precious metal until the impurities rise to the surface and are removed. I do not make the fire too strong to destroy, nor too weak to leave the dross untouched. I measure every degree of heat with love, because I know there is something precious within you that needs to be made bright. Remember Isaiah, my beloved child. When he saw me seated on the high and exalted throne, his heart could no longer hide itself. He did not boast of his holiness, nor did he blame anyone else, but trembled and confessed that he was a man of unclean lips, dwelling among a people of unclean lips. Then an angel took a burning coal from the altar, touched his lips, and declared that his guilt had been taken away. Do you see? The fire from the altar did not come to destroy Isaiah, but to prepare him for a greater calling. After he was purified, he could then say, "Here am I, send me." As Isaiah 6:8 says, I am doing the same with many souls today. I touch the places that once spoke words of fear and turn them into mouths of hope. I touch the memories once imprisoned by shame and turn them into testimonies of grace. I touch the false parts of you so that you may stand before me in truth. My beloved child, the discernment I invite you to enter is not the act of judging others with arrogant eyes, but the ability to recognize which path leads to life and which path is quietly causing the soul to wither. The fruit of the light consists in all goodness, righteousness, and truth, as Ephesians 5:9 teaches. So look at the fruit. Whatever draws you closer to me, makes your heart softer, causes you to love more, forgive more, and become more humble, carries the breath of light. But whatever makes you hardened, proud, greedy, bitter, secretive, and distant from peace, no matter how radiant its outward garment may appear, you must know that it is not my voice calling you. The moment of choice does not always come in a grand form. Many times it lies in one small decision today, in a word you choose not to speak, in a truth you choose not to hide, in a step of return that you choose to take before it is too late. I purify because I love. My beloved child, if I were indifferent, I would have let you sleep peacefully in chains beautifully decorated. If I did not love you, I would have let you continue calling prison a home, calling wounds your identity, and calling darkness freedom. But my love does not stand at a distance and watch you waste away. Every branch that bears fruit he prunes, that it may bear more fruit. As John 15:2 says, the pruning may make you feel as though you are losing something. But in truth, I am removing from you the things that drain your life. I cut away falsehood so that your heart may become pure. Cut away dependence so that you may learn to lean on me. Cut away the noise so that you may hear again the first calling. After the rain, the soil becomes soft. After the long night, dawn appears. After purification, your soul will no longer be a barren land, but a garden where my light can dwell. So today, when you see signs that trouble human hearts, do not tremble like one who has no father. Stand still in faith. Open your heart in prayer, and let me restore order within you before you seek order in the world outside. I am calling you back to the light, not the cold light of exposure, but the warm light of true life. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. As John 1:5 declares, hold on to that word like a lamp within your heart. I am nearer than the thunder, gentler than the raindrop, stronger than every storm. And when I cause the sky to light up for a moment, it is so that you may remember that I am still calling, still healing, still renewing, and still leading those who belong to me out of darkness and into life that never fades. My beloved child, there are times when I do not shake the world first in order to change outward things, but to awaken the deepest place within you. The awakening I call you into is not merely the opening of physical eyes after a long night, but the moment when your soul stops lying still beneath the fog of habit, anxiety, and indifference. A person may have open eyes in broad daylight and yet still be asleep spiritually. Another may stand in the darkness of night and yet have a heart full of light because he knows I am present. Therefore, when I say, awake, you who sleep, arise from the dead, and Christ will shine on you. As Ephesians 5:14 reminds you, it is not the voice of condemnation, but the gentle word of the Father placing his hand upon your shoulder and calling you back to the light. I do not want you to live as one swept away by every noise of life, hearing news from near and far and becoming afraid, seeing upheaval and becoming confused, looking at the darkness and thinking it has the right to rule. I want you to see with my eyes, hear with ears that have been purified, and perceive what I am quietly doing behind the veil of events that seem disconnected. My child, when the soul is awake, you will understand that true peace does not come from everything around you being calm, but from knowing that I am within you and that I hold all things. Those who sleep often confuse outward stillness with safety, then call awakening a disturbance, call my reminders something irritating, and call familiar darkness a shelter. But the one who knows me will not fear the light, because light may expose, but it also heals. Light may reveal the wound, but it also leads you to the hand that bandages it. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. As John 1:5 declares. So, do not look at this age with the mindset of one surrounded by the night. Look as a child whom the Father has placed in the light, so that even when dark clouds gather, your heart still carries a lamp that does not go out. Whoever knows how to listen will be guided. Whoever is willing to walk in truth will not be lost. Whoever keeps a tender heart before my voice will be protected from the hidden paths that slowly wear down the soul. Therefore, I speak to you not to make you tremble, but to draw you out of the ashes of weariness. There are layers of doubt that have clung to your eyes for too long, causing you to see everything through heaviness. There are ashes of disappointment covering your heart, leaving the first flame only faintly smoldering. But my beloved child, I do not extinguish a smoldering wick, I come to rekindle it. A bruised reed he will not break, and a smoldering wick he will not quench. As Matthew 12:20 reveals, my heart, so do not think that because you were once lukewarm, you are no longer called. Do not think that because you were once slow to hear, I no longer speak. I still stand at the door of your heart, not as a distant king demanding entrance by power, but as a patient father knocking with love. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come in to him. As Revelation 3:20 says, the light is not far from you. It is right at the threshold of decision, where you can choose to return, choose to pray, choose to forsake coldness, and allow me to renew you from within. Remember the story of Habakkuk, who stood in the midst of a troubled time and could not understand why there was so much injustice, upheaval, and crying out around him. He did not pretend that he understood everything, nor did he allow his heart to sink into bitterness. He said, I will stand at my watchpost and station myself on the tower, and look out to see what he will say to me. As Habakkuk 2:1 records, do you see? Watchfulness is not chasing every rumor, nor is it trying to predict the future through fear. Watchfulness is standing at the watchtower of faith, bringing your honest questions before me, and waiting to hear my voice instead of letting the world fill your heart with chaos. Then I spoke to Habakkuk that the vision still awaited its appointed time, if it seemed slow. He was to wait for it, because it would surely come. That word is also for you today. Not every movement will be understood by you immediately, but no movement is beyond my providence. There are things I allow to happen not so that your soul may be shattered, but so that what is temporary may be shaken, and what is steadfast may be revealed. Do not let outward calm lull you to sleep. My beloved child, a still lake does not always mean the depths beneath are not moving. A quiet house does not always mean its foundation is firm. A nation that appears normal does not mean the souls within it are not being tested. All the nations of the earth do not exist before me as isolated islands. I see the whole tapestry of history, where every thread is woven together by things you cannot fully perceive. When one land is shaken, its echo does not stop at the borders drawn by human hands. It passes through the deeper layers of consciousness, touches the conscience, awakens questions, and reveals the things people have tried to bury. Acts 17:26 says that I determined their appointed times and the boundaries of their dwelling places, so that you may understand that history is not an ownerless river, from great cities to small villages, from places where power sits, enthroned to the quiet room of someone praying in secret. I am still doing my work in a way no one can prevent. But my child, do not let the mention of sifting make your heart proud, as though you were called to judge others. I do not call you to stand on the side of light through loud declarations, but through a pure life, through kindness, through faithfulness in small things, through the way you choose to love when the world grows cold. Choose truth when deception seems easy, and choose prayer when many only know how to complain. For you were once darkness, but now you are light in the Lord. Walk as children of light. As Ephesians 5:8 teaches, light is not only something you proclaim, light is the way you live when no one is watching. The tenderness of your heart toward those who suffer, the courage to refuse what defiles the soul, and the sobriety to recognize what is drawing you away from me. The age may resound with many different voices, but learn to discern the fruit, whatever leads you into holy peace. Humility and love draws near to the light, whatever makes you proud. Numb, cold, and distant from me, even if it is covered with glamour. You must know how to release it. Now I want you to rise, not in panic, but in faith. Shake off indifference as one takes off an old garment. Cleanse your eyes with prayer, and let your heart become sensitive to the movements of the Holy Spirit. What is unfolding in the world is not merely a sequence of events for you to observe from afar. It is a bell calling your soul back to true life. I am shaking the things in which people have misplaced their trust, not to rob them of hope, but so that they may find the hope that cannot be shaken. Since we are receiving a kingdom that cannot be shaken, as Hebrews 12:28 reminds you, hold firmly to what cannot perish. You belong to the light, so live as a person of the dawn. I am with you in every movement, going before you in every event, and keeping you when you know how to listen. You only need to open the door, and my light will enter, not only to illuminate the room of your soul, but to make you yourself a lamp for many who are still seeking their way through the night. My beloved child, what I want you to hear first is not the sound of the wind outside the door, nor the distant thunder across the sky, but the very deep call resounding within your soul. The sky may change its color, the earth may tremble, and the sea may rise in waves. But if your heart remains closed, even the greatest signs will become only a passing scene and then be forgotten. Therefore, I am not only calling you to look up, I am calling you to awaken. So then, let us not sleep as others do, but let us watch and be sober. As 1 Thessalonians 5:6 reminds you, this watchfulness is not living in fear, but living in the awareness that I am acting, arranging, purifying, and drawing humanity back to the original light they have lost amid too much noise from the world. From the beginning, I placed within creation a holy language that not every ear can hear. People see the seasons change and call it law. See the clouds gather and call it weather. See a streak of light cut across the sky and call it a phenomenon. But I want you to understand that nature is never silent before the one who created it. The heavens declare the glory of God, the skies proclaim the work of his hands. As Psalm 19:1 declares, a falling leaf can remind you of the fragility of human life. A sunrise can speak to you of mercies made new each day. A storm can awaken you from self-satisfaction, and a stillness after the tempest can teach you that true power does not need noise in order to be present. When I move, even the things you call ordinary become messengers, because everything in my hand can carry a message. But, my child, do not seek me only in what is intense. Sometimes I speak through fire. Sometimes I speak through thunder. But sometimes I call you with a very gentle voice that you will miss if your heart is too busy. Remember the boy Samuel in the temple, when the lamp of God had not yet gone out, and everyone thought that night was like any other night. In that stillness, I called Samuel by name, not through a storm, not through lightning, but through a personal call so intimate that only a soul willing to listen could recognize it. At first, he did not understand, but when he was taught to answer, "Speak, for your servant is listening," as 1 Samuel 3:10 records, he stepped into a new journey. Do you see? What determines everything is not whether the sign is great, but whether you are willing to respond. Many people demand to see the heavens open, yet when I gently knock on their conscience, they turn away. But you learn to hear me, both in the echoes of heaven and in the whisper of the secret place. The shakings in the world are not always the final ending. Many times, they are the labor pains of something new. The whole creation has been groaning and suffering the pains of childbirth. As Romans 8:22 says, so that you may understand that there are pains that do not lead to destruction, but to birth. When the darkness seems thicker, Do not quickly conclude that the light has been defeated. Some of the deepest nights come just before dawn. Some foundations are shaken not so that all hope may collapse, but so that you may recognize what has been built on rock and what has only been built on sand. The rain fell, the floods came, and the winds blew and beat against that house. Yet it did not fall, because it had been founded on the rock. As Matthew 7:25 teaches you, I am allowing temporary things to reveal their weakness, so that you will no longer place your soul in places that cannot save you. Therefore, my beloved child, when you see nations confused, when human hearts are troubled, when the things that once seemed firm begin to tremble, do not let fear lead you. Let discernment lead you back to me. I do not want you to become someone who merely observes the times with anxious eyes and then allows your heart to be pulled into the current of confusion. I want you to become someone who stands in the light, who knows how to pray when others only complain, who knows how to keep a pure heart when others compromise, who knows how to choose truth when the world paints falsehood with beauty. When these things begin to happen, stand up and lift up your heads, because your redemption is drawing near. As Luke 21:28 reminds you, lifting your head is not arrogance. It is the posture of a child who knows that his father still reigns amid every upheaval. There are things being exposed, not to make you despair, but to free you from illusion. What has been hidden for too long will not be able to remain in darkness forever. What is decorated with an outward appearance of righteousness but is rotten within will not be able to stand before the breath of truth. Nothing is covered up that will not be revealed, nor hidden that will not be known. As Luke 12:2 declares, but do not use that word to judge others before allowing it to shine upon yourself. Ask your heart, is there any compromise weakening your soul? Any noise drowning out my voice? Any fear sitting in the place that should belong to faith? I do not ask in order to condemn you. I ask in order to save you from chains disguised as familiarity. Now I speak to you with tender love, yet not with shallowness. Do not fall asleep in the hour when you are being called. Do not let outward peace lull you into forgetfulness, and do not let outward chaos steal your inner peace. I am weaving a picture wider than your eyes can see, where every event, every season, and every shaking can be used to draw your soul closer to the truth. The things that can be shaken will be removed, so that the things that cannot be shaken may remain. As Hebrews 12:27 reveals, therefore, choose the portion that cannot be shaken. Set your life upon me. Keep the lamp of your heart burning through prayer, through obedience, through pure love, and through humility. When the world grows dark, you do not need to become one who trembles in the night. You are called to become a small lamp that I have lit, so that those who are weary may look upon it and remember that light still remains. Life still remains, and I am still nearer than they have imagined. My beloved child, whenever an old season comes to a close, do not see only loss, because in my hand, an ending is not always the final stop. Many times it is a gateway leading into something purer. I allow what has become rotten to be shaken not because I want to confuse you, but because I do not want you to build your life upon things that no longer carry life. There are layers of dust that have settled upon your soul through the years, the dust of self-importance, the dust of doubt, the dust of habits that quietly draw you away from me. When my light shines upon them, it does not come as a cruel fire to destroy you, but as a fire that refines gold, so that what is true within you may shine. Your faith, more precious than gold that perishes, though it is tested by fire, as 1 Peter 1:7 reminds you. Therefore do not fear the seasons of refining. My fire is not meant to erase your name from love, but to erase from you the things that keep you from living fully in that love. At times, you may feel that everything around you is changing too quickly, that familiar things no longer keep their old shape, and that the paths which once made you feel secure have suddenly become strange. But my child, when I breathe new life into a season, the old must give way to what is being born by grace. Behold, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs forth. Do you not perceive it, as Isaiah 43:19 declares? My new work does not always begin with a shout of joy. Sometimes it begins with the cracking of false walls, with an emptiness that causes you to seek me more deeply, with a separation from what you once held tightly, but which was actually holding you captive. Do not mourn your chains simply because they were familiar. Do not call darkness home simply because you have lived in it for too long. When I call you to step out, it is because beyond it, there is a wider sky for your soul. I do not seek impressive places in which to place my light. My beloved child, I am not drawn by outward grandeur, nor do I need vessels decorated with the praise of human beings. I seek a humble heart, where you can speak to me in truth. Father, create in me a clean heart. As Psalm 51:10 prayed, it is in such tender souls that my light remains longer. The proud may speak about the light, but the humble allow the light to transform them. The noisy may proclaim renewal, but those who know how to bow low are the ones who are truly made new. When your heart stops resisting, when you no longer hide your wounds beneath the garment of self-protection, my light will soak into the deepest places and heal what you thought you would have to carry for the rest of your life. Remember Noah, my child. In his time, the world had sunk into corruption, but I did not allow the story of humanity to end in darkness. I told him to build an ark at a time when many did not understand, did not believe, and may even have mocked him. Then the rain came, the waters rose, and what was old was swept away. Yet inside that ark, I preserved the seed of a new beginning. When the waters receded, Noah stepped out not to return to life exactly as it had been before, but to begin a new covenant beneath the sign of the rainbow. Do you see? Even after judgment, my heart still moves toward redemption. I did not use the waters to say that all hope was over. I used the waters to wash away an age that had decayed and to open another page. In the same way, there are rains in your life that do not come to drown you, but to carry away what no longer belongs to the future I have prepared for you. Therefore, when the darkness around you roars, do not think it is stronger than the light. Many times, that roar is only the final sound of what is about to lose its dominion. When an old habit fights back, when an old fear tries to pull you backward, when the past tries to tell you that you cannot change, remember my word. If anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. The old things have passed away. Behold, all things have become new. As 2 Coríntios 5:17 declares, I do not rewrite your life with the weak ink of human hands, but with my living grace within your heart. I can turn the place that was once ashes into an altar, the place that was once failure into a testimony, and the place that was once shame into a stream of mercy for many others. After the sounds that awaken your heart, I also want you to know the gentleness of saving light. Not every light from me comes like fire upon the mountain. There is a light that comes like dawn, touching the face of the weary after a long night. The Son of Righteousness shall rise with healing in his wings, as Malachi 4:2 has promised. That light does not make you shrink back, but lifts your face. It does not ask how many times you have fallen before embracing you. It simply calls you home. When you say, Father, I need you, heaven does not hesitate before that cry. I do not stand far away to measure whether your tears are enough. I draw near, because true repentance always opens the door for life to pour in. My saving light does not merely cover your outside like a beautiful garment for a moment, but enters into the hidden rooms of the soul, the places you once locked away because you were afraid of being seen. It touches memories, softens what has become hardened, and washes clean the marks you thought would never fade. If we confess our sins, He is faithful and just to forgive us our sins and to cleanse us from all unrighteousness. As 1 John 1:9 says, you do not need to keep living like someone carrying an old sentence when the prison door has already been opened. You do not need to wear the crown of shame upon your head when I have called you my beloved child. Let that light not only shine upon you, but live within you, so that every thought, every word, and every step may gradually become evidence that grace has truly touched you. Now, my beloved child, do not cling to the old season simply because you fear the new land. I am opening a chapter that is not written by fear, but by life. When you lose your way, my light will remind you of the way home. When you are weary, my light will warm what is still cold within your heart. When the world is chaotic, my light will cover you like a cloak of peace. I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will not walk in darkness, but will have the light of life. As John 8:12 declares. So step into the new season with humility and faith. The old is passing away, not so that you may be left empty, but so that you may be filled more fully. Darkness retreats not because you are strong, but because I am with you. And whenever my light touches your life, remember this: it is a sign that new life has begun, and I will not leave unfinished the good work I have started in you. My beloved child, there are times when the most dangerous thing does not come to you in an ugly form that is easy to recognize, but as a sweet call, as a glittering lamp along the road, as a whispered promise that you will be safer, more respected, more loved, if only you step just a little away from me. Therefore, I instruct you to keep your heart watchful, because Satan himself masquerades as an angel of light. As 2 Coríntios 11:14 warns, not everything that shines comes from me. Not every open door leads you into life, and not every applause from the crowd is a sign that you are walking in the right direction. There are things that look like glory but are chains within. There are praises that sound like honey but lull your soul to sleep. There are paths covered with flowers that, in the end, lead you far away from true peace. I do not want you to live in fear, but I want you to know how to discern, because an unguarded heart can easily allow the counterfeit to sit in the place where only I am worthy to reign. My child, the world often measures you by what others can see, the position you have reached, the possessions you hold, the name you leave behind, and how far your voice can be heard. But I look deeper than all those garments. I see your soul when night falls, when no one is applauding anymore, when achievements cannot embrace you, when money cannot answer the loneliness within your heart. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life is not from the Father. As 1 John 2:16 reminds you, I am not against pure joy. I do not despise the work you do, nor do I deny the material blessings I may give, but I do not want those things to become your master. When a gift takes the throne in the heart, it is no longer a blessing, but becomes a silent idol. Remember the story of Gehazi, the servant of the prophet Elisha. When Naaman was healed of leprosy, Elisha refused to receive gifts so that everyone would know, my grace cannot be bought or sold. But Gehazi allowed his heart to incline toward silver, fine garments, and personal gain. He ran after Naaman, invented a false story, and received the things he thought could make his life richer. But afterward, Naaman's leprosy clung to him, Do you see? What he brought home was not only silver and garments, he brought home the decay of a wrong choice. What does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his own soul? As Mark 8:36 asks. A gain obtained through deceit is always more costly than you imagine. There are things that, when you receive them, may fill your hands, yet impoverish your soul. There are exchanges that make the world think you have won, while heaven sees that you are losing your purity. Therefore, I call you back to the small but true things. Do not despise a gentle word spoken at the right time, for it can keep a heart from collapsing. Do not underestimate a quiet act of kindness, for in my eyes, love does not need a trumpet to become precious. When my son saw the poor widow put 2 small coins into the offering box, he did not measure the value by the amount, but by the heart. Others gave out of their abundance, but she gave out of her poverty, and heaven remembered it. My beloved child, in my kingdom, a tear shed in intercession, a hand that lifts another up, a difficult word of forgiveness, a meal shared quietly can all shine brighter than monuments built in pursuit of fame. Whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers of mine, you did for me. As Matthew 25:40 teaches, do not think you must do something spectacular for your life to have meaning before me. I do not need you to prove your worth through noise. I need you to be faithful when no one sees, upright when no one is checking, kind when kindness is not returned, and obedient when obedience requires you to let go of something you once loved. He has shown you, oh man, what is good, and what does the Lord require of you but to do justice, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God, as Micah 6:8 reveals. The path of light is not always paved with great miracles. Many times it is built by small choices, repeated again and again in a heart that reveres me. Each time you choose truth instead of falsehood, love instead of bitterness, prayer instead of complaint, you are allowing the light to gain another victory within you. Do not fear the darkness as though it has the final authority over your life. Darkness may confuse you when you turn your back on the light, but it cannot rule over a soul that has opened the door to me. A room may remain dark for a very long time, but once the lamp is lit, darkness does not need to be driven out by human strength. It retreats on its own before the presence of light. I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will not walk in darkness, but will have the light of life. As John 8:12 says, therefore, do not believe the whisper that says you have been bound forever. Chains are not stronger than grace. Fear is not deeper than love. The past has no right to write the final chapter while I am still holding the pen over your life. When you return, the accusations that once clung to you will lose their power, because my light does not only shine on the path before you, but also enters within to dismantle the invisible prisons in which you have lived for far too long. Remember Zacchaeus, my beloved child. He had money. He had status. He held the power of tax collection in his hands. Yet his heart still lacked something that could not be bought. People may have looked at him with contempt, and perhaps he himself had grown used to hiding behind his wealth. But on the day I passed through Jericho, he climbed up a sycamore tree just to see me, and I looked up, called him by name, and said that I must stay at his house that day. Do you see? I did not wait for Zacchaeus to become respectable before entering his home. It was my presence that transformed him. When the light entered the house, greed could no longer sit undisturbed upon the throne. He willingly returned what was wrongfully taken, shared his possessions, and a new life began. Today, salvation has come to this house. As Luke 19:9 records, in the same way, you do not need to clean every dark corner by yourself before inviting me in. Open the door. and my light will do what you cannot do by your own strength. The hour of choice is also the hour of grace. So, do not allow shame to disguise itself as humility and keep you standing outside the door. There are people who do not return, not because they do not need me, but because they think they have gone too far. But I say to you, seek the Lord while he may be found. Call upon him while he is near. As Isaiah 55:6 reminds you, I am nearer than you think. Grace is not a cold promise hanging in some distant future, but a stream of living water waiting for you to bend down and drink today. Behold, now is the favorable time. Behold, now is the day of salvation. As 2 Coríntios 6:2 declares, do not wait until your heart no longer trembles before you return. Do not wait until you understand everything before you step forward. One sincere step toward me is more precious than 1,000 promises you keep saving for tomorrow. I am also calling all humanity, my beloved child, because the slumber of this age does not lie in one person or one place alone. Many have traded truth for comfort, holiness for convenience, conscience for gain, then called decline, progress, and purity outdated. Yet, even as Ko rise, I do not speak first to destroy, but to redeem. For God did not send his Son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world through him might be saved. As John 3:17 reveals, if I expose falsehood, it is so that humanity will stop kneeling before it. If I purify, it is so that what is truly alive may rise again. If I shake, it is so that sleeping souls may hear the call to return to the source of light. So come near to me with an uncovered heart. Do not bring excuses to justify the darkness. And do not bring the fear that I will reject you. Though your sins are like scarlet, they shall be as white as snow. As Isaiah 1:18 has promised, I can wash clean what you thought could never be cleansed, restore what you thought was ruined, and bring life again to the place you thought was only ashes. Let the simplest prayer become the key that opens the door. Father, I need you. When that word truly rises from your heart, heaven does not remain silent. I will come like dawn after a long night, not to blind you with fear, but to warm you, lift you up, and lead you out of the labyrinths that have exhausted you. My beloved child, today, choose the light not only with your lips, but with your steps. Choose to return while your heart is still being called. Choose to release what has drained you. Choose truth instead of the mask, grace instead of shame, me instead of broken cisterns that cannot hold water for your soul. I am still stretching out my arms. The door has not yet closed. The light is still touching the threshold of your heart. And when you step through, you will understand that I never wanted to lose you. I have sought you through every turn, called you through every whisper, and waited for you through every delayed season. Come home, my child, for in me there is not only forgiveness, but new life, true peace, and a love that never withdraws. My beloved child, before you search for light in some distant place, let me remind you that what you thirst for is not found in applause, not in the throne people build, nor in the things you can hold tightly and call security. The world has taught you to look outward for so long that you have begun to believe that if you were more recognized, more successful, and possessed more, your heart would no longer feel empty. But true light does not come like a layer of gold spread over the surface of life. True light comes as life quietly soaking into the very roots of the soul. In him was life, and the life was the light of men, as John 1:4 declares. Therefore, do not let yourself be deceived by false lamps that only dazzle your eyes but cannot warm your heart. What comes from me does not force you to display yourself. does not demand that you prove yourself, and does not require you to become a stranger to be loved. I call you back to your original identity, a soul known by me, loved by me, breathed into by me, and created to reflect my pure light in the midst of the world. My child, there is a rest the world cannot teach you, because the world only knows how to urge you to run faster, achieve more, compare more deeply, and fear more intensely. But in my kingdom, great things do not always begin with noise. Many times they begin with a breath of surrender. When you breathe in within my presence, let your soul receive grace as dry ground receives the first rain of the season. When you breathe out, release each burden you have carried for so long that you thought it was part of you. Be still and know that I am God. As Psalm 46:10 reminds you, that stillness is not emptiness, but the cradle where peace is born. Every breath can become a prayer without many words. You receive, then you release, you draw near, then you rest, you are filled, then you become still in my love. My beloved child, I do not tell you to stop so that you will fall behind, but so that you will stop losing yourself in a race that has no destination. People measure worth by speed, by achievements, by numbers accumulated on the surface of life. But I look at the love that has grown within you, the tenderness that still remains in your heart, and the degree to which you know how to abide in me amid busy days. Abide in me, and I will abide in you. As John 15:4 teaches, a vine branch does not bear fruit by forcing itself to separate from the vine in order to prove its strength. It bears fruit because it remains in the source of life. You are the same. If you keep trying to shine by your own strength, you will grow weary. But if you abide in me, light will no longer be something you must perform before others. It will become the natural fragrance of a soul being nourished from within. Remember Ezekiel in the valley of dry bones. My beloved child, before his eyes was a scene that seemed to hold no hope, bones scattered everywhere, dry, silent, without breath, without life, seen through human eyes. It was a place of ending. But I asked him, can these bones live? And when my word was spoken, when breath was called from the four winds, what had withered began to move. Sinews and flesh were restored, and life stood up like an army. I will put my spirit within you, and you shall live. As Ezekiel 37:14 reveals. Do you see? I do not need a place to be perfect before I begin a miracle. I can step into the driest place within you, the place where you thought there was no feeling left, no hope left, no strength left to pray, and breathe new breath into it. What you call exhaustion is not my limit, many times. It is the very place where I am preparing to reveal deeper life. Therefore, do not be afraid when you feel that your heart needs to learn again how to live slowly in my presence. There are wounds that are only healed when you stop running from them. There are tears that are only wiped away when you stop hiding your face. There are questions that only become lighter when you place them in my hands, instead of turning them over and over in your mind. Cast all your anxiety on him, because he cares for you. As 1 Peter 5:7 says, you were not created to hold the whole world inside your small chest. You were not born to live as someone who is always tense, always afraid of lacking, always afraid of being forgotten. Let the world fall from your hands for a moment, not because you are indifferent, but because you trust that my hands are greater than yours. And what you cannot control is still not beyond my providence. I know there are times when you think your light has grown weak, like a small lamp trembling before the wind. But my child, I do not come to rebuke the smoldering wick. I come to shield it from the wind and rekindle it with my breath. A smoldering wick he will not quench. As Isaiah 42:3 has promised, you only need to open your heart, and my light will not stand outside waiting for you to become worthy. It will enter so that you may live. It will shine into the dark corners not to shame you, but so that you will no longer be deceived by darkness. It will touch the places where you once blamed yourself, so that you may know that grace does not only forgive the past, but also teaches your heart to sing again in the present. The light I give is not loud like stage lights, but steadfast like the dawn, quiet, certain, and unable to be held back by the night forever. So today, my beloved child, return to the holy rhythm of breath that I placed within you from the beginning. Breathe in, and remember that grace still remains. Breathe out, and release what does not belong to life. Breathe in, and receive peace. Breathe out, and surrender fear. Breathe in, and hear me call you, my beloved child. Breathe out, and no longer need to prove yourself before the voices that exhaust you. I am still here, nearer than the breath within your chest, gentler than morning dew upon the grass, steadier than everything that is changing. My light has not left you. I am simply inviting you to turn your face toward it. Stop, listen, and allow your soul to be lifted. For in my presence, you will remember that you are not a lost one searching for worth in the world, but a child born from light, held by love, and led back to a peace that will never run dry. My beloved child, before the noises of life covered your heart like a thick mist, there was a time when your soul knew how to trust with simple faith. You once looked at the world with eyes that had not yet been made guarded by wounds. Once heard my voice in small things. Once felt that my hand was nearer than every fear. Then the years passed. Someone sowed words of judgment into you. Some event left a hidden bruise within you. Some disappointment taught you to close the door before anyone could step inside. But my child, what has been covered does not mean it has been lost. Gold may lie beneath dust, but dust does not turn gold into earth. Light may be hidden by clouds, but clouds cannot erase the sun. I called you by name before you even knew how to call yourself. And my word in Isaiah 43:1 still resounds, do not fear. For I have redeemed you. I have called you by your name. You are mine. Your true identity is not found in what people say, nor in the wound you have carried, but in the love I placed upon you from the beginning. There are times when you lift your eyes and think that heaven is too far away, that your prayer simply dissolves into empty space, that I no longer hear because your heart no longer feels the answer as it once did. But my child, the silence you feel is not always my absence. Sometimes I am listening more deeply than you imagine, not only hearing the words you speak, but also the trembling behind those words, and even the sigh you do not know how to name. Before they call, I will answer. While they are still speaking, I will hear, as Isaiah 65:24 has promised. A whisper in the night, a question breaking forth in weariness, a tear falling where no one sees. All of it touches my heart. Do not think that because you cannot hear my voice clearly, I have stopped speaking. Sometimes I speak by making your soul thirst again, because holy thirst will lead you away from dry wells and draw you to the spring that never runs dry. Remember the Samaritan woman at the well. My beloved child, she came to the well at a lonely hour, perhaps to avoid the eyes of others, carrying not only her water jar, but also a life wearied by searching for love in places that could never make her whole. But I was sitting there, waiting for her. I did not begin with condemnation, but with an invitation to step into truth. When I spoke of living water in John 4:14, saying that whoever drinks the water I give will never thirst again, I was not only speaking of a distant promise, I was opening for her a way back to the dignity that had been buried beneath many layers of shame. Do you see? I often meet you in the very place where you thought you would come only to keep surviving another day. An ordinary well can become a place of revelation. A lonely moment can become a doorway of encounter. A thirst within the heart may be the very bell I use to call you back to the true source. Therefore, do not curse the painful seasons as though they came only to break you. I do not rejoice in your pain, but I have the power to turn even the things that made you weep into softened soil where grace can grow. You have kept count of my tears in your bottle. As Psalm 56:8 reminds you, meaning that not one of your tears falls outside my care. The things you thought were only losses may have taught you humility. The cracks you wanted to hide may become places where my light enters. The nights when you had no strength to say anything except one weary breath may have become your truest prayer. I do not waste your sorrow. I do not let your tears become a meaningless river. In my hands, even ashes can become the foundation for an altar, and even the roads where you lost your way can be transformed into a map that leads you home. My beloved child, what I am doing within you is not erasing every memory so that you can pretend you were never wounded, but changing the way your soul reads those memories again. When you look through fear, the past feels like a prison. When you look in my light, the past can become a school of mercy. All things work together for good to those who love God. As Romans 8:28 says, does not mean that everything that happened was good, but that I am powerful enough to make even the things that were not good unable to steal the purpose I have prepared for you. What once made you think you were weak can make you gentler toward others. What once caused you to fall can teach you how to lift someone who is falling. What once made you feel empty can open within you a space wide enough for my grace to overflow. Do not forget that I often place treasure in vessels that seem fragile. We have this treasure in earthen vessels. As 2 Corinthians 4:7 says, so that the power may belong to me and not to your own strength. You may see yourself as cracked, but I see places where light can shine through. You may see the parts of your life that have not yet healed, but I see a witness being formed. You may wonder why you are no longer as pure and untouched as you were in the beginning, but I say to you, true purity is not never having passed through storms, but still choosing to believe after the storm, still choosing to love after being wounded, still choosing to return after seasons of silence. A wind of the Holy Spirit can blow through your heart, sweep away the dust of doubt, revive what seemed to have died out, and restore to you the sacred hearing you thought you had lost forever. So let your heart soften before me, like dry ground opening itself to receive the rain. Do not try to wipe away every layer of dust with your weary hands. Let my breath pass through. Do not be afraid to look back at your pain, because I will stand with you in every memory and show you where grace was quietly preserving you. Do not keep asking whether I still hear you, because even that question has already been held by me in love. I am still here, in your breath, in your thirst, in your tears, in the cracks you want to hide, in the small light within your heart that has not yet gone out. Come back to me, my beloved child, not as a stranger begging to be accepted, but as a child whose father is brushing the dust from your garment, lifting your face, and reminding you of what has never changed. You belong to me. The light within you has not died, and even every painful road can become a path that leads you closer to my heart. My beloved child, when you stand in the silence of your life and wonder why what you have prayed for has not yet taken shape, I want you to remember that silence is not an empty void without meaning. You look at time through falling calendar pages, through one season following another, through days and months that seem to stretch beyond what you can bear. but I look at time through the depth of your soul, through the maturity quietly growing within you, through the things that must be prepared before a blessing can be placed into your hands without causing you to wander away from me. For everything there is a season, and a time for every matter under heaven. As Ecclesiastes 3:1 says, "So do not quickly condemn the season of waiting as a season of being forgotten. There are doors that open at once because your heart is ready to step through them, and there are also doors that must remain closed for a while longer. Not to keep you from what is good, but to protect you from entering too soon with a soul that is not yet steady enough. My child, I know that delay often causes your heart to ache. You sow your prayers like seeds. Then, day after day, you look at the ground and see it still silent, with no green sprout, no sound of the soil shifting, no sign that what you have entrusted to me is alive. But my child, a seed is not dead simply because it lies beneath the ground. It is there, in that darkness, that it breaks open, draws nourishment, takes root, and prepares for the day it will rise. Though the vision delays, wait for it will surely come. It will not delay. As Habakkuk 2:3 reminds you, what you call delay, I may be calling formation. What you think is silence, heaven may see as a hidden work. Roots always grow before flowers. Foundations are always laid before rooftops. And true faith is often born in places where no one applauds, no one sees, where there is only you and me. Remember Lazarus, my beloved child, when the one I loved became sick. His 2 sisters sent word to me, saying, Lord, behold, the one you love is sick. But I did not come immediately in the way they expected. In their eyes, that delay may have felt like the pain of being left alone in the eyes of those who were mourning. It seemed that every hope had closed when Lazarus had been in the tomb for 4 days. But I said to Martha, I am the resurrection and the life, as John once, 25 declares. And before the tomb that seemed to be the final ending, I called Lazarus by name to come out. Do you see? If I had come earlier, they might have known me only as the one who heals sickness. But when I came at the appointed time of the Father, they knew me as the one who calls life out of death. Therefore, do not be afraid when my answer does not come according to your schedule. There are miracles that need a deep enough setting for my glory to be revealed more fully. My beloved child, while you are waiting for what you have prayed for, I am also doing something even more precious within you. I am teaching you to love me, not only for the things I give, but because I, myself, am the inheritance of your soul. I am removing from you the haste that wants to control, softening the places in your heart that have become hardened by anxiety, and teaching you to stand firm even before you see the result. Let patience have its perfect work, that you may be perfect and complete, lacking nothing. As James 1:4 teaches, waiting does not make you smaller. If you remain in faith, it will make your soul deeper. A heart that only believes when it is answered immediately is still immature, but a heart that continues to worship in the silence has begun to understand that my presence is more precious than every gift I place into its hands. Do not think that when you see nothing happening, I am doing nothing. There are encounters I am arranging beyond your sight. There are hearts I am preparing before they enter your story. There are doors I am opening slowly, so that when you arrive, they will not only open, but lead you into the right place, the right people, and the right season. Those who wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. As Isaiah 40:31 has promised, those who wait for me are not merely standing still in helplessness, they are being renewed in the secret place. They learn how to walk without being exhausted, how to hope without panicking, how to pray without giving orders to heaven. You do not need to force the harvest to come early. If fruit is picked while it is still green, it will be bitter. If the promise arrives before your heart has ripened, it may become a burden instead of a blessing. There are seasons when I allow you to sow with tears. There are seasons when I allow you to rest, like soil being restored after a long harvest. There are seasons when I allow you to sprout in silence. And there are also seasons when I allow you to reap with joy. Those who sow in tears shall reap with shouts of joy. As Psalm 126, 5-6 says, "So do not despise the season when you have not yet seen fruit." Resting soil is not dead soil, it is being renewed. A quiet soul is not an abandoned soul. It is learning to hear me at a deeper level. When you think I am far away, many times I am closest, like a potter bending near the clay, using the pressure of his hands to reshape a vessel that cannot yet understand its own form. That pressure is not rejection, it is the sign that my hand is still at work. So today, be steadfast, but do not become hardened. Wait, but do not become numb. Hope, but do not force me to follow the timetable of the fear within you. Wait for the Lord. Be strong and let your heart take courage. As Psalm 27:14 encourages you, I am not late. My beloved child, I have not forgotten. I have not lost a single one of your prayers among the countless cries of humanity. Every sincere request is kept in my heart. Every tear is remembered. And every day you still choose to believe in the silence is becoming a stone that builds mature faith. And when the time I have appointed arrives, you will look back and understand that I did not merely bring something good to you, I prepared you to receive it with a humble, strong, and grateful heart. Then you will not only rejoice because your prayer has been answered, but you will also worship because you realize that throughout the season of waiting, the greatest gift has always been that I was walking with you. My beloved child, there are seasons when I do not come to you with a great thunder, but with a very gentle stirring within your heart, just enough for you to realize that you have gone farther than you thought. I do not stand before you as one who is only waiting to find fault, nor do I call your name to shame you for the roads where you went astray. I call you because I love you, because I see your weary steps even before you realize you are exhausted. Sometimes what grieves me is not that you have lost your way, but that you have grown so accustomed to being lost that you think it is normal life. But today, when my light touches the hidden places of your heart, do not quickly close them again. Let me enter the rooms you have locked for so long, where fear lies still beneath the dust of time, where old memories still quietly bleed. He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds, as Psalm 147:3 has promised. I do not name your pain in order to make it greater, but so that it will no longer rule over you in darkness. My child, your soul was not created to live in endless noise. The world wants to pull you into the cycle of news, comparison, busyness, desire, and fear, so that you always hear every voice except mine. But a soul too full of noise will slowly forget the rhythm of grace. You may do many things and still be withered within. You may appear strong while your heart is still pleading for rest. Therefore, I invite you to step out of distraction, not so that you may abandon your responsibilities, but so that you may find the source of life again before continuing to walk. Be still and know that I am God. As Psalm 46:10 reminds you, stillness before me is not weakness. It is the place where your soul is realigned, where false voices fall away, and where you hear again the voice of your Father saying, you are not forgotten. You are not forsaken. You still belong to me. There are things within you that can only be healed when you stop running away. Each time you avoid the pain, You think you are protecting yourself, but in truth, you are only allowing the wound to continue living in the darkness. Bring it to me, little by little, without decorating it, without explaining too much, without pretending that everything is already well. I do not require you to be strong enough before you may come near. I am the one who said, I am the way, the truth, and the life in John 14:6. So when you come to me, you are not only looking for a way out, you are finding yourself again in the truth. The more you choose me over the noise of the world, the more you will realize that you are not the things that caused you to fall, nor are you the things others have said about you. You are the child loved by me, called back by me, lifted up to live by peace and not by inner conflict. Remember Jacob in the night at Peniel. He had lived many years with fear, schemes, running away, and cracks within the very meaning of his name. But in a solitary night, when every outer noise grew quiet, he wrestled with the one from heaven until daybreak. That night was not merely a struggle, it was the place where covenant was touched again. Jacob entered the night with fear, but came out with a new name. He was touched on the hip and became lame. Yet that very touch became the sign that he had encountered me. Your name shall no longer be Jacob, but Israel, as Genesis 32:28 records. Do you see? Sometimes I do not remove every trace of the struggle, but I transform it into evidence of change. There are nights when you think you are only fighting to survive, but I am using that very night to rename your soul, from one who is afraid into one who is held within the covenant. The covenant between me and you has never been erased by the seasons when your heart was weak. It may have been covered by the dust of doubt, hidden by fear, forgotten amid the times you blamed yourself. But what I have placed within you is not as fragile as a passing emotion. Even one small ray of faith can open the door. If you have faith as small as a mustard seed, nothing will be impossible for you. As Matthew 17:20 teaches, I do not despise your trembling faith. I do not look down on a short prayer that rises from a weary heart. When all you can say is, Father, please help me. That word is enough for heaven to lean down, for the covenant does not live by your perfection, but by my faithfulness. Then there will be times when you feel as though your soul is like cracked ground after a long, dry season. You think there is nothing left in you that can bloom, no strength left to believe, no tears left to cry, no words left to pray. But I am the early rain that comes not to rebuke the ground for being dry, but to soften it again. I will pour water on the thirsty land and streams on the dry ground, as Isaiah 44:3 has promised. When my grace soaks in, the things you thought were dead begin to stir in the secret place. Kindness returns, hope begins to sprout, tenderness is restored. The broken places within you are no longer only marks of pain, but become places where light passes through to shine for others. So today, my beloved child, let me draw you back to true life. Do not fear stillness, because in it I am speaking. Do not fear the light, because that light does not come to shame you, but to free you from the things that have hidden for too long. Do not fear looking back, because I will go with you into every memory and show you where my love was quietly preserving you. Open your heart as the earth opens itself to receive rain, and let the Holy Spirit blow through the layers of dust that have covered the true gold within you. I am still here, gentle yet powerful, quiet yet not distant. And when you return to me, you will understand that peace is not the absence of wounds, but the knowledge that every wound can be placed in the hands of the healer. That covenant is not an ancient ritual, but a new rhythm of life beating again within you. and that you are not a lost one forgotten, but a child being called home by the Father, watered, restored, and brought back to life in the light that never goes out. My beloved child, the covenant between me and you is not an old line of writing lying still in memory, nor is it a distant promise mentioned only on the days when you feel strong. That covenant is the place where your heart meets my heart in living trust. It breathes with the breath of faith, grows through the times you choose obedience, and shines brightly each time you speak to me with all simplicity. Father, I trust you. Your eyes may not see anything changing immediately before you. Your ears may not hear thunder or the voice of angels. Your circumstances may remain silent, like soil where no sprout has yet broken through. But in a deeper realm, what is holy is still being joined together. The righteous shall live by faith. As Habakkuk 2:4 declares, meaning that your true life does not rest on what you feel for a moment, but on my faithfulness, the one who never changes. Even when your emotions sometimes rise high and sometimes sink low, my child, faith is not a passing feeling that burns brightly for a moment, but the quiet hand of the soul holding on to my word when everything around you has not yet given evidence. Faith is when you stand before the deep abyss and still believe that I can place a path beneath your feet. Faith is when you look at your circumstances and say that circumstances do not have the final voice, because faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. As Hebrews 11:1 teaches, you do not need to understand everything in order to be called a believer. Many times, faith begins with one small trembling step, with a very short prayer, with the decision not to let go of my hand, even though darkness still surrounds you. In that very moment, you declare to your whole soul that my word is truer than the voice of fear. My love is deeper than your wounds, and my presence is more certain than the things your eyes are seeing. Remember Abraham, who was called to leave his homeland without knowing the full road ahead. I did not give him a complete map, nor did I explain every turn. I gave him only a promise and invited him to walk. By faith, Abraham obeyed when he was called to go out to the place he would receive as an inheritance. He went out, not knowing where he was going. As Hebrews 11:8 records, do you see? The covenant does not live by your control, but by your surrender to me. Abraham had long days of waiting, seasons when the promise seemed too far away, moments when his body had grown old and reality appeared to contradict what I had spoken. But the promise did not die because time passed. In Genesis 15:5, I brought him outside and told him to look up at the heavens and count the stars, so that he would understand that what I had appointed was not limited by human ability. In the same way, there are nights when I lead you out of the narrow room of fear, not so that you may count your difficulties, but so that you may look again at the greatness of the one who has promised you. There are days when you pray and do not see the door open, and then you think the flame of the covenant within your heart has grown weak. But my beloved child, I do not measure the life of the covenant by the speed with which I answer according to your desire. Sometimes what you call delay is the very place where I am teaching you to love me more deeply than the thing you want to receive. If the covenant were only an exchange, you would seek me only for the gift. But true covenant is a relationship of love, where you learn to remain with me even when your hands have not yet received what you long for. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and do not lean on your own understanding. As Proverbs 3:5 reminds you, I am not silent in order to make you feel abandoned. Many times I am silent so that the roots of your faith may grow deeper, so that you will not only believe in the miracle, but believe in the one who performs the miracle. My child, look back at the times when I acted in the history of my people, The Red Sea did not part before the people came to the edge of the water. Manna did not fall before they learned to live each day by my provision. Water did not flow from the rock because human beings had power, but because I heard the cry and did what no one could do by their own strength. When Peter and John met the lame man at the temple gate, they did not give him silver or gold, but in the name of the Lord, they lifted him up, and the feet that had once been powerless began to walk. These things are not only ancient stories, but reminders that I still act through faith that turns toward me. When you believe, you do not force me to do according to your will. You open your heart so that my power may enter the very place that needs to be healed, lifted up, and guided. Yet, my beloved child, I know that keeping faith on a day when you do not see the light is not easy. There are mornings when you wake and your heart is still heavy, nights when you pray, but hear only your own sigh, seasons when every sign seems to stand against the promise. But it is precisely there that your faith becomes precious. Though he slay me, yet will I trust in him. As Job 13:15 expresses a faith that has passed through the fire of testing. Job did not understand everything that was happening, yet he still did not let go of me. You are the same. When you have not yet seen the result but still choose to pray. When you have not yet felt peace but still choose not to turn away. When you have not yet understood the plan but still say, "Let your will be done," then the covenant within you is not grown cold. It is burning with a fire deeper than emotion. I do not demand that you have a faith that never trembles. I know you are dust. I understand the battles within your heart, and I see even the moments when you want to believe, but your tears blur your eyes. What I seek is a heart that still returns. If you have faith as small as a mustard seed, as Matthew 17:20 says, that small thing is still enough for me to begin working. A mustard seed does not impress by its outward appearance, but within it there is life. A censure, yes, even spoken while trembling, is more precious before me than strong words that are empty. Each time you choose to believe, it is as though a thread of light is drawn again between earth and heaven, not because you create the power, but because you allow your heart to open to the power that has always belonged to me. So today, guard that covenant with quiet faithfulness. Do not wait until everything is clear before you walk. Do not wait until your heart has no more questions before you worship. Do not think that the days of waiting are useless days, because it is precisely in that silence that I am shaping you into someone who can stand firm when the blessing comes. I am teaching you to love me, not only in the season of receiving, but also in the season of being formed. And when the appointed time comes, you will see that I have never forgotten a single word I have spoken. He who promised is faithful. As Hebrews 10:23 declares, my covenant for you is not canceled by your weakness, not extinguished by the days when you feel nothing, and not defeated by the darkness around you. Keep believing, my beloved child. Keep saying yes in the secret place. For each time you place your heart in me, heaven and earth meet again within your soul, and that holy fire will continue to burn, leading you through the darkness, warming you in the trial, and drawing you closer to me day by day. My beloved child, when faith within you is rekindled, it is not merely a beautiful feeling that passes quickly, but a sacred connection being lit between heaven and earth. Each time you say, "Yes, Father, I believe," my loving answer also touches you like a warm stream of fire, softening the places that have frozen because of fear, healing the emptiness that disappointment once left behind, and rebuilding within you the altar that had grown cold through many weary seasons. Lord, I believe. Help my unbelief. As Mark 9:24 cried out, and I do not despise a faith that still trembles like that. One censure, yes, however small, can still open a way for grace to enter. When that covenant is touched again, you do not merely receive blessing to keep for yourself. You are transformed into one who carries blessing, a living witness that my love is not a distant memory, but a power that is breathing, healing, renewing, and sending you out into a world that needs to see the light through your life. But, my child, understand this with wisdom. After a covenant is restored, your faith will enter a season of deeper refining. Not because I want to make you afraid, but because what is precious must be made steadfast. True gold must pass through fire to become pure. Roots must sink deep into the soil when strong winds rise. And faith cannot mature if it only lives in easy days. The testing of your faith produces patience. As James 1:3 teaches, therefore, if right after you decide to trust me, contrary winds begin to rise, do not quickly think that the promise has been withdrawn. Many times, it is a sign that the seed of covenant has truly been planted, and darkness is troubled by what I have just lit within you. The enemy does not need to disturb a soul that is asleep, but it will try to weary a soul that is just awakened, because it knows the light within you can spread farther than you imagine. You will see it come not always through loud attacks, but through small whispers, that you are not strong enough, that you will fail again, that I have forgotten you, that your yes means nothing. It will use delay to sow doubt, loneliness to sow sorrow, old mistakes to pull you back into shame. But my beloved child, the weapons of our warfare are not weapons of the flesh, but have divine power. As 2 Corinthians 10:4 reminds you, you do not overcome by forcing yourself forward in fear, but by remaining in me. You overcome when you pray, even though your heart does not yet feel light. You overcome when you speak the truth, even though falsehood seems easier. You overcome when you stand still in the promise, refusing to let passing emotions push you out of the place where I have set you. Remember Nehemiah, my child. When he heard that the walls of Jerusalem were broken down, his heart was grieved. But that grief did not make him sink. It became prayer and then obedience. He rose to rebuild what had been destroyed. But as soon as the work began, opposition also arose. Sanballat and Tobiah mocked, threatened, sowed discouragement, and tried to make the people give up. Yet Nehemiah did not abandon the mission. He prayed, stationed guards, and the people built while remaining ready to fight. Nehemiah 4:17 describes them working with one hand while holding a weapon with the other. Do you see, when I call you to rebuild the altar within your heart, to rebuild faith, restore covenant, and enter a new life, you too must build while keeping watch. Build with love, with obedience, with faithfulness, and keep watch with my word, with prayer, with alertness against the voices that want to drag you back to the old ruins. Do not be afraid if you must fight after you have believed, because the battle does not prove that you have been abandoned. It proves that what is within you has value and must be protected. When I place light within you, I also give you armor so that you may stand firm. Put on the full armor of God, so that you may be able to stand in the evil day. As Ephesians 6:13 declares, that armor is not cold hardness, but truth around your waist, righteousness over your chest, peace beneath your feet, faith as your shield, salvation as your helmet, and my word is the sword of the Spirit. You do not need to shout loudly to prove that you belong to me. You only need to keep standing in the light when darkness tries to make you turn back. There are victories that are very quiet, not answering with bitterness, not returning to old habits, not abandoning prayer in a dry season, not losing kindness when you have been wounded. Heaven sees those victories, even when the world does not record them. I also want you to know that when the covenant comes alive again within you, your life will become a stream for others. The blessing I give does not stop in your hands. It passes through you to touch souls that are still cold. I will bless you, and you will be a blessing. As I spoke to Abraham in Genesis 12:2, when you have been warmed, you will know how to warm others. When you have been lifted from the pit, you will know how to bend down towards someone who is falling. When you have seen the promise come alive again after a long night, you will become evidence that faith is not a weak illusion, but a real bridge that carries people from despair into hope. Do not underestimate the light being lit within you. A small flame, if kept in my hand, can lead many people through the darkness. Therefore, my beloved child, guard what I have restored within you. Do not let weariness make you lay down your weapons. Do not let doubt make you tear down the altar that has just been rebuilt. And do not let mockery cause you to leave the wall I have called you to build. If you stumble, rise again in grace. If your heart grows weak, return to the promise. If you do not feel the fire burning as strongly as yesterday, keep adding wood through prayer, through my word, through small, faithful choices each day. I am with you both when you receive the blessing and when you learn to protect that blessing. He who is in you is greater than he who is in the world. As 1 John 4:4 declares. So stand firm. My child, your yes has touched heaven. My love has touched you, and the covenant coming back to life will not only change your life, but will also make you a sign of hope for many who need to know that light still triumphs. Love still remains, and faith still has the power to make all things new. My beloved child, after the seasons in which you have been called back to the covenant, I do not want you to continue walking with empty hands or with a heart that only knows how to defend itself in fear. I place my word within you like a holy fire, like a sword that does not rust, like a light that cannot be swallowed by the night. Do not think my word is merely letters lying still on a page. For the word that goes out from my mouth shall not return to me empty, but shall accomplish what I desire, as Isaiah 55:11 declares. When you keep that word in your heart, when you speak it out in faith, when you allow it to correct your thoughts and guide your steps, you are not only reminding yourself of a truth, you are opening the door for my power to operate in the very place where you stand. There are darknesses that do not retreat before complaining, but must retreat before truth confessed by a soul that knows to whom it belongs. There are fears that do not dissolve because you try to analyze them, but dissolve when you place them beneath the light of my promise. So when the battle rises in your mind, do not quickly call yourself weak. I am not ashamed that you have to fight. My heart aches when you forget that you are not fighting alone. Take the sword of the Spirit, which is the Word of God, as Ephesians 6:17 teaches. Because in the hour of darkness my word does not only comfort you, but also discerns what is true and what is false, cuts the cords of accusation, and reminds your soul to stand in its rightful place. The enemy often does not begin with great chains, but with a small thought that you are not good enough, that I am far from you, that the promise has grown cold. That one fall can cancel everything I have built. But when you answer with my word, you are not arguing with darkness through your tired reasoning. You are bringing light into the place where darkness is hiding. When you say, "The Lord is my light and my salvation, whom shall I fear?" as Psalm 27:1 declares, your soul is turning its face toward my throne instead of bowing its head before the voice of threat. Remember, my son in the wilderness. My beloved child, after 40 days of fasting, his body was weary, and it was precisely then that the tempter came with words that sounded reasonable. Turn stones into bread. Seek immediate glory. Test the protection of heaven. But my son did not overcome through a display of power. He overcame through the word that had been written. Each time, darkness offered a proposal. He answered, "It is written." That story in Matthew 4 is not only for you to admire the Savior, but for you to learn the way of victory. When you are tired, you are more likely to listen to shortcuts. When you are lonely, you are more likely to compromise for false comfort. When you have waited a long time, you are more likely to want to prove yourself. But my word will keep you from trading the covenant for a passing meal, from trading obedience for applause, from trading trust for the need to control everything. My child, putting on the armor I give does not mean you become hard, cold, or closed off from others. My armor does not turn you into an aggressive person. It makes you someone who stands firm in love. Truth girds your waist so that you will not be deceived. Righteousness covers your chest so that your heart will not be pierced by accusation. Peace beneath your feet keeps you from running in panic when storms arise. Faith in your hand becomes a shield against the flaming arrows of doubt. Salvation upon your head reminds your mind that you have been redeemed, and my word in your mouth lights the whole path. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. As Psalm 46:1 says, "Therefore, you do not need to boast that you are strong. You only need to remain in the one who is stronger than everything that comes against you." I know there are days when you want to avoid every battle, when you only want peace without having to face anything anymore. But there is a kind of calm that is only escape, while the peace I give is the ability to stand in the storm without allowing the storm to rule your heart. True victory does not always mean that circumstances immediately change according to your desire. Many times, victory is when your heart no longer trembles before what once controlled you, when you are tempted to complain but choose to pray, when you are pulled toward bitterness but choose forgiveness, when you see the night stretching long but still sing a word of praise, when you do not yet have the answer but still keep your hand in mine. That is, when the covenant has rooted itself more deeply within you. They overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. As Revelation 12:11 reminds you, showing that victory is not only an outward event, but the living testimony of a heart that refuses to leave the light. Remember King Jehoshaphat when a great army came against him and the people were afraid. He did not pretend that he had enough strength, but stood before me and said, "We do not know what to do, but our eyes are on you." As 2 Chronicles 20:12 records, "Then I taught them a wondrous way, not to place the sound of swords and spears first, but to place praise first. When they began to sing that my mercy endures forever, I caused the enemy to fall into confusion, and the people entered victory not by their own strength." Do you see? There are battles you win not by loud resistance, but by fixing your eyes on me, allowing worship to restore order within your soul. When you praise in the night, you are declaring that darkness has no right to define your song. Then after the battle, when the dust settles and your soul sits again in silence, I will draw near, not to ask how strongly you performed, but to touch you as a father touches a child who has passed through fire and still did not let go of his hand. I will seal this truth within you. You belong to me. You are kept by me, and you are sent forth in my light. That seal does not need to be seen by human eyes, but the spiritual realm recognizes it. It rests in the new peace you carry after tears, in the quiet courage that remains after trials, in your ability to love even after being wounded. He who establishes us with you in Christ and has anointed us is God, who also sealed us. As 2 Corinthians 1:21-22 reveals. So stand firm, my beloved child, not in your own strength, but in the power of the one who has promised, my word within you will continue to burn. My covenant with you will continue to live. And every step you take in faith will extend the light from one generation to another, until many souls see in you a gentle proof that I still conquer through love, still protect through faithfulness, and still send restored children to become lamps in the deep night. My beloved child, when I place my seal upon your soul, it is not only a confirmation that you have passed through a season of testing, but a holy declaration that you still belong to me after everything that tried to draw you away from the light. I do not call you victorious because you have never trembled, never cried, never been wounded, but because, amid those cracks, you still knew how to return to me. In all these things we are more than conquerors through him who loved us. As Romans 8:37 declares. Do you see? Your victory is not that you came out of the fire without any trace, but that the fire could not burn away the faith within you. There are scars upon your soul that the world may see only as marks of pain, but I see them as an altar, a place where grace met suffering, where my faithfulness placed an undeniable sign that cannot be erased. My child, do not be ashamed of the places that were once wounded. I do not allow those parts to become evidence against you. I transform them into a testimony of my restoring power. A wound placed in my hands will not remain a wound forever, but can become a window through which light passes. A memory that once made you bow your head can become the place where you learn how to lift someone else up. A season of life you thought was lost may be the very ground where I quietly planted eternal seeds. He gives a crown of beauty instead of ashes, the oil of joy instead of mourning, and the garment of praise instead of a spirit of heaviness. As Isaiah 61:3 has promised, I do not deny the ashes you have passed through, but I will not allow those ashes to have the final word. In my hands, ashes can become the soil for a new garden, tears can become a river that refreshes others, and what you once called failure can become the first chapter of spiritual maturity. Remember King Jehoshaphat, when a great army came against him and the people were afraid. He did not pretend that he had enough strength, but stood before me and said, "We do not know what to do, but our eyes are on you." As 2 Chronicles 20:12 records, then I taught them a wondrous way, not to place the sound of swords and spears first, but to place praise first. When they began to sing that my mercy endures forever, I caused the enemy to fall into confusion, and the people entered victory not by their own strength. Do you see? There are battles you win not by loud resistance, but by fixing your eyes on me, allowing worship to restore order within your soul. When you praise in the night, you are declaring that darkness has no right to define your song. Then, after the battle, when the dust settles and your soul sits again in silence, I will draw near, not to ask how strongly you performed, but to touch you as a father touches a child who has passed through fire and still did not let go of his hand. I will seal this truth within you. You belong to me. You are kept by me, and you are sent forth in my light. That seal does not need to be seen by human eyes, but the spiritual realm recognizes it. It rests in the new peace you carry after tears, in the quiet courage that remains after trials, and in your ability to love even after being wounded. He who establishes us with you in Christ and has anointed us is God, who also sealed us. As 2 Corinthians 1:21-22 reveals, so stand firm, my beloved child, not in your own strength, but in the power of the one who has promised. My word within you will continue to burn. My covenant with you will continue to live, and every step you take in faith will extend the light from one generation to another, until many souls see in you a gentle proof that I still conquer through love, still protect through faithfulness, and still send restored children to become lamps in the deep night. My beloved child, when I place my seal upon your soul, it is not only a confirmation that you have passed through a season of testing, but a holy declaration that you still belong to me after everything that tried to draw you away from the light. I do not call you victorious because you have never trembled, never cried, or never been wounded, but because amid those cracks, you still knew how to return to me. In all these things we are more than conquerors through him who loved us. As Romans 8:37 declares. Do you see? Your victory is not that you came out of the fire without any trace, but that the fire could not burn away the faith within you. There are scars upon your soul that the world may see only as marks of pain, but I see them as an altar, a place where grace met suffering, where my faithfulness placed an undeniable sign that cannot be erased. My child, do not be ashamed of the places that were once wounded. I do not allow those parts to become evidence against you. I transform them into a testimony of my restoring power. A wound placed in my hands will not remain a wound forever, but can become a window through which light passes. A memory that once made you bow your head can become the place where you learn how to lift someone else up. The season of life you thought was lost may be the very ground where I quietly planted eternal seeds. He gives a crown of beauty instead of ashes, the oil of joy instead of mourning, and the garment of praise instead of a spirit of heaviness. As Isaiah 61:3 has promised, I do not deny the ashes you have passed through, but I will not allow those ashes to have the final word. In my hands, ashes can become the soil for a new garden. Tears can become a river that refreshes others. And what you once called failure can become the first chapter of spiritual maturity. Remember the 3 Hebrew young men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They were thrown into the fiery furnace not because they had done wrong, but because they refused to bow before the idol of their age. The fire was heated hotter than usual, and people thought it would be the place of their ending. But in that furnace, there was a fourth one walking with them. When they came out, their hair was not burned, their garments were not scorched, and even the smell of fire was not upon them. The story in Daniel 3 does not speak only of deliverance, but also of a seal. The fire proved that they belonged to me, and my presence was stronger than every punishment of man. My beloved child, there are furnaces in your life like that as well. They are not permitted to destroy you. They only reveal that you are not alone. In the place where others thought you would collapse, I stood beside you. In the place where you thought you had been forgotten, I was quietly keeping you from being completely broken. Therefore, when I seal you with victory, I do not place upon you an empty badge so that you may boast in the way of the world. That seal is the confirmation that you have been preserved, restored, and sent forth. After you believed, you were sealed with the promised Holy Spirit. As Ephesians 1:13 reminds you, my seal is not only found in words, but in the peace you carry after the storm, in the kindness that remains after you have been wounded, in the ability to pray for others, even though you yourself once needed healing. When you enter a room with a heart that has been touched by me, you do not carry only your story, you carry the breath of grace. When you speak a word of encouragement to someone in despair, that word is no longer merely a sound from your lips, but a stream of water passing through a vessel that was once cracked, yet has been kept by me for a holy purpose. Do not underestimate the power of a soul that has been healed. My beloved child, one who has never suffered may speak about hope with understanding, but one who has passed through the dark night and still seen the dawn can speak with living evidence. When you place your hand upon another person's sorrow with compassion, I can use the very place that once hurt within you to recognize their cry. When you pray, that prayer is not the pleading of someone with no refuge, but the voice of a child who knows he has the right to draw near to the Father. Let us then come boldly to the throne of grace, that we may receive mercy and find grace to help in time of need. As Hebrews 4:16 teaches, you do not pray as one who has been cast far away, you pray as one who has been called by name, received, sealed, and given the right to stand in my presence. Yet, my child, carry that seal with humility. Do not let victory become pride, and do not let being chosen make you look at others from a higher place. I did not heal you so that you would judge those who are still bleeding. I healed you so that you would know how to bend down. I did not bring you through the fire so that you could boast that you are strong, but so that you could testify that I am faithful. We have this treasure in earthen vessels, so that the surpassing power may be from God and not from us. As 2 Corinthians 4:7 says, you are still an earthen vessel, but within you there is treasure. You still need grace every day. And precisely because of that, the light you carry is not cold, not distant, but near, warm, and full of mercy toward those who are still seeking the way. Now look back upon your journey with new eyes. The place that once made you afraid may become the place where you recognize that I protected you. The place that once made you cry may become the place where you understand mercy more deeply. The place that once seemed like loss may be the place where I buried a seed that is now beginning to sprout. You have not only survived the trial, you are being transformed through the trial. You have not only been brought out of darkness, you are being sent back as a lamp for those still trapped in the night. Walk in that seal, not with boasting, but with a clear life, words that lift others, hands that heal, and a heart that knows how to trust. I have chosen you, kept you, and called you mine. No wound is stronger than my seal. No darkness can erase the light I have placed within you, and no past has the right to take from you the mission I have written with love upon your soul. My beloved child, do not seek the sign I have placed upon you in the approving eyes of human beings, because what comes from the earth often changes with the winds of the earth. Today they may praise you. Tomorrow they may forget you. Today they may lift you up. Tomorrow they may measure you by their cold standards. But my seal is not engraved upon a stage, not hung upon a title, not proven by applause or by the position you have attained. It is written in the secret place, where you once wept and still did not let go of me, where you once did not understand and yet still said, Father, I believe, where you once passed through the wilderness and still offered thanksgiving even before you saw water before you. The Lord does not see as man sees. Man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. As 1 Samuel 16:7 declares, therefore, the most precious thing within you is not what the world recognizes, but what I have seen and called by name for a long time. Remember David, my beloved child, when Samuel came to the house of Jesse to anoint the one who had been chosen, the sons who were tall, strong, and outwardly worthy passed before him one by one. But I do not choose according to appearance. David was still out in the field, tending the sheep, in a hidden place no one thought about. People may have overlooked him. His family may not have called him first. But I never overlooked the one I have appointed. When the oil was poured upon David's head, the whole kingdom did not immediately applaud, nor did the throne appear at once. But in the spiritual realm, a seal had been placed upon him. From that day on, My spirit was with him. Do you see? The true seal often begins in silence before it is revealed in life. So it is with you. There are things I have placed within you in the secret place, and even if others have not yet seen them, heaven already knows. Therefore, when you feel small, weak, and unrecognized, place your hand over your heart and remember that you are not defined by the attention of the world. After you believed, you were sealed with the promised Holy Spirit. As Ephesians 1:13 reminds you, that seal does not fade because you have a weary day, does not grow dim because you pass through a season of doubt, and does not disappear because you once stumbled and wept in shame. I do not seal you with the ink of human beings, but with unchanging love. If today you tremble, that seal still remains. If today you do not feel strong, that seal still remains. If today you have only enough strength to call my name in a short breath, I still hear, because my love does not require you to shine brightly before I recognize that you are mine. That seal does not only preserve you, it also causes my light to remain around your life. When you walk in faith, a quiet radiance goes with you. Not the kind of light that makes you boast in yourself, but the light that helps weary souls feel that there is still a way home. Let your light shine before others, that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven. As Matthew 5:16 teaches, you do not need to force anyone to believe through a strained voice. You do not need to prove grace through arguments. Live in truth, in kindness, in patience, and in love that has been purified. True light is not noisy, yet it has power to move the heart. A peaceful life amid chaos can speak louder than 1,000 speeches. A forgiving heart after being wounded can open another person's eyes to see that I am still alive and active. My beloved child, do not fear the darkness as though it has equal power with my light. Darkness is only strong when you forget to whom you belong. When you stand in the covenant, you do not walk alone. He will command his angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways, as Psalm 91:11 has promised. But you must also understand that my protection does not always mean you will never face trials. Sometimes I preserve you by giving you strength to pass through. Sometimes I send angels ahead of you to open a way your eyes have not yet seen. Sometimes I let the Holy Spirit remain within you like a small but enduring flame, reminding you that you can still stand firm for one more day. My presence does not merely surround you, I am also within you, nearer than breath, deeper than fear, and more steadfast than every upheaval. When you are sealed in my love, you become a living sign in the world, not because you are perfect, but because you have been touched, not because you have never suffered, but because that pain no longer rules over you. Those who see gentleness in you after harsh seasons will wonder what source kept you from bitterness. Those who hear your words of encouragement will sense that they are not merely beautiful words, but a stream flowing out from a soul that once thirsted and was given drink by me. Whoever believes in me, rivers of living water will flow from within him. As John 7:38 declares, you are not meant to keep grace like a treasure buried in secret. Let it flow through the way you listen, the way you pray, the way you lift someone who has fallen, and the way you keep your heart tender when life tries to make you hard. And if one day an old sin, an old wound, or an old distance tries to whisper that you have lost that seal, return to the truth and do not listen to accusation. Neither death nor life, neither angels nor powers, neither the present nor the future, will be able to separate us from the love of God. As Romans 8:38 até 39 declares, there is no depth that my love cannot reach. There is no night my light cannot pierce. There is no wound stronger than my healing hand. My covenant is not as fragile as your emotions. It is anchored in my faithfulness, not in your ability to always feel worthy. When you fall, return. When you are afraid, call upon me. When you no longer have long words, simply say, Father, I will answer, because I have never left you. So live as one who has been marked, my beloved child, but live with humility. Do not use the light to lift yourself above others. Use the light to show the way. Do not turn being chosen into pride. Turn it into service. I have placed within you the breath of an eternal covenant, so that you may become a heartbeat of mercy in a weary world. When you are weak, remember that the seal is still there. When you are lonely, remember that I still walk with you. When no one sees you, remember that all of heaven knows your name. Walk in the light, not so that you may be praised, but so that others may find the source of light through you. For you belong to me. You are kept by me. You are sent by me, and the love that has engraved its seal upon your soul will never be erased. My beloved child, do not let the silence of the world make you think you have been forgotten, because the things most precious before me are often the things least seen by people. They may not know the nights when you prayed in tears, may not understand why you are still standing after so many wounds, may not recognize the value of your quiet faithfulness. But I see it all. Can a mother forget the child at her breast, though they may forget? I will not forget you. Behold, I have engraved you on the palms of my hands. As Isaiah 49:15-16 reveals, you are not lost in the crowd of this world. Your name has not been carried away by the wind. Your journey is not a faint line in the story of humanity. In the spiritual realm, I know every step you take, every time you fall and still try to rise again, every moment you choose the light, even when darkness calls to you with sweet words. Therefore, do not be afraid when people do not understand you. What they do not see does not mean it does not exist. What they do not acknowledge does not mean I do not treasure. My child, the seal I have placed upon you is not an ornament for you to display, but the assurance that you belong to a covenant that surpasses time. It keeps you in this life, but it also points you toward eternity, where every tear will be wiped away, and every quiet act of faithfulness will be revealed in the light. Rejoice that your names are written in heaven. Luke 10:20 declares, so that you may understand that your deepest joy is not found in being applauded by the world, but in being known by the Father. There are days when you feel small, like a lamp trembling before a strong wind. But in the ranks of light, no lamp I have lit is meaningless. A small light placed exactly where I desire can guide someone who is lost. A quiet prayer can keep a family from breaking apart. A faithful life can become a sign for the generations after you, showing them that my covenant is still alive, still strong, and still unfading through the years. Remember Gideon, the man who once hid in the winepress because of fear, seeing himself as weak and the least in his father's house. But when my angel came to him, the first word did not call him by his present trembling, but by the identity I had placed within him. The Lord is with you, mighty warrior. As Judges 6:12 records, Gideon saw lack, but I saw one being sent. Gideon saw a lowly family, but I saw an instrument of deliverance. Gideon saw fear, but I saw the seed of obedience. Do you see? I do not wait for you to feel worthy before I call you mine. I call you first, and then, in the journey of walking according to that calling, you are transformed. A man who once hid because of fear became one who led the people into victory, not by great numbers, but by my power. In the same way, you may think you are insignificant, But if I have placed my seal upon you, even your smallness can become the place where my glory is revealed. Therefore, live each day as one who has been marked, not with the strained appearance of someone who must prove himself, but with the peace of one who knows he is being kept. Shine as lights in the world. As Philippians 2:15 reminds you, not so that others may praise you, but so that they may find the way back to me. The light of the covenant does not need arguments in order to exist. It only needs to be lived out through kindness, through purity, through forgiveness, through faithful choices when no one is watching. When you do not answer bitterness with bitterness, the light is shining. When you lift up the despairing, even though you yourself have once grown weary, the light is shining. When you keep your heart upright in a world that easily compromises, the light is shining. Others may not be able to name what they sense in you, but their souls will recognize that another kind of life is flowing through you. That seal does not stop with you. My beloved child, what I have engraved upon your soul will echo beyond your own life if you know how to live faithfully. Faith is not passed on only through great sermons, but through the way you respond in suffering, the way you pray in lack, the way you love in trial, and the way you return to me after days of weakness. I am the faithful God, keeping covenant and steadfast love to 1,000 generations of those who love me. As Deuteronomy 7:9 reveals, there are people in generations after you who will learn about me, not first through lofty words, but through the light they see in your life. They will remember that you did not abandon faith when tested by fire, that you did not allow pain to become bitterness, that you did not allow darkness to extinguish what I had lit within you. And from that memory, a new seed will be planted in them. So today, do not underestimate your journey. Do not say that you have nothing to give, because a heart that has been kept by me through storms is itself a precious testimony. Do not wait until you are perfect before you shine, because my light does not require a vessel without cracks many times. It is through the cracks that my tenderness goes out to touch others. Whoever believes in me, rivers of living water will flow from within him. As John 7:38 declares, let that river flow through your words, through your presence, through the mercy you offer to those who are exhausted. You do not walk alone. I go before you. I am with you, and I have placed within you the breath of the eternal covenant. Lift up your head, my child who bears my seal. Even if the world forgets, I do not forget. Even if others do not understand, I understand. Even if you see yourself as small, heaven knows your name. This covenant does not only shelter you in your limited days, but also leads you toward the light that will never go out. Live as a lamp lit by the Father, without boasting, without fear, and without retreating before the deep night. For those who see the light within you will not stop at you. They will be led back to the source of light, where my love is still calling, still healing, and still carrying life from one generation to the next.